Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Guild Podcast. And today I have a very special guest, a random person that I met at a coffee shop. I'll let her introduce herself.
That sounds so funny. It's like, hey,
but it's true.
It's true. Yeah. You're not wrong. It just sounds like you just met me at a coffee shop. It's like, hey, you want to go on?
Do you know what the podcast is? Yeah. All right, let's go.
You're
go to the van right down the street, right around the corner.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
But yeah, no, Gil's right. We did meet at a coffee shop randomly. My name is Leandra. You can call me Elle. I'm an email and web developer by day and a wannabe content creator by night.
That sounds so interesting. It's interesting, but not as interesting as how we met.
True.
I was at a coffee shop, minding my own black business, doing my whatever I was editing, and you literally said, "Hey, I need to go take a leak. Can you watch my shit?"
True, yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? So I look over at your whatever situation you had going on, and it was a MacBook Pro 14-inch M1. I was like, whoa, that's sounds like she's super serious, whatever she's doing.
Right, yeah.
So I kind of like creeped and looked at your monitor and saw that you were coding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, whenever she gets back from taking a shit, I'm gonna ask her, like, what the hell is she coding? Is she trying to hack into like some Wi-Fi, whatever the system is? But after like speaking to you, I saw that you were doing something that I initially would always overlook, which is email template coding.
Yeah, email development. So what email development essentially is, or like email marketing in general, is, like when you go to a store and they ask you to sign up for like their mailing list and their emails look different than the ones that, you may send to your boss or your friend. So I make those kinds of emails, with like the graphics and the links and, the fancy, the fancy schmancy shit. And yeah, so I've been doing that for a long ass time now, like 7 years, 8 years. Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, and it's kind of interesting how you are a content creator who podcasts. You podcast every Tuesday at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you find your job as a creative outlet? Even though you're coding, is it still a creative endeavor, or is it just work to you?
You mean like
what is the creative aspect of
my job?
Of your job, yeah.
It's the problem solving aspect, I'd say, because like when I get a design for an email and they want me to code it, and if it's something that I haven't done in a while or I've never done, just being able to figure out how to code it so it works on all the email clients, because like you have Outlook, you have Gmail, you have Yahoo, you have Apple, you have a million other fucking email.
So they all read the code differently?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they all like to just add in their own garbage to the code as well. So you have to know how, who's going to do what and like what you can like pull and what you can kind of get away with when it comes to certain things. For example, like Outlook Windows doesn't want to follow any kind of rules. It's kind of a rebel, and every email developer hates Outlook.
Yeah,
which is like the most
it's
used one.
Right? Yeah, it is.
Like if you work at a company, most likely they're using Outlook, and you most likely have a
because
Windows
of security. Or just
I guess so.
Out of habit.
I feel like, well, I won't lie. Like if you work at a company and they use Outlook Windows or like just Outlook, I would say that that's the best kind of work email.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. I don't think it's the best email client personally, but I do think it's the best corporate job email client.
Okay.
I know it sounds kind of boring.
No, it doesn't sound boring at all, because after speaking to you, I actually started looking at my email spams a little bit more differently. I started noticing the ones that I interacted with looked better and had more interactive ability, if that's the word. And now that I'm thinking about how you're saying that different emails use different templates, or they work for different clients in a specific way, I started noticing that certain emails would crash, if you will. Like it would just not make sense. It would just be one picture over here, then it'll be like a dialogue box say, hey, click here. But if I would open it on my phone, it would look perfect.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I do, like my specialty is being able to code emails, responsive emails. So they look good on both desktop and mobile. So it's the same, file of code, and it looks good on both desktop and mobile. So I have to make sure that it works for both. So, I'm not going to be pulling that kind of shit.
Yeah. So how did you get into that?
It's a funny story. So when I graduated from college, my first job was Best Buy. I was like working, like seasonal for like the holidays. And this guy who I was friends with in college happened to just run into me while I was on my shift.
Was it a coffee shop?
The Best Buy coffee shop. No. Yeah, I tend to just meet.
Right?
Yeah. So he saw me working there, and he remembered I was like into like web development and stuff like that. And he said that he had a job where, I could be like a paid intern where I could learn how to code emails. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. And so I didn't have a car, I didn't have anything. So like my parents would actually have to drive me like way out of their way to take me to this job. And, it paid decently. It was like $10 an hour. I think I worked like 2 to 3 days a week at first until I got my own car. And I was able to work 5 days out of the week. But I was at an ad agency, and it was grueling. But if there's one thing that an ad agency does, it's like it really just levels up your skill set quickly.
At ad agency?
Yeah. Advertising agency. Yeah.
So when you say ad agency, I always think about Don Draper from
yeah.
What's the show called?
Mad Men.
Mad Men. My favorite show. Yeah.
And like I won't lie, there are similarities. Yeah. Like, yeah, for sure. Just like how should I
pressure.
Yeah, like especially making the deadlines for like outside clients. Like, like you and I, like we have deadlines for pretty much just like ourselves when it comes to content creation. But when it comes to other people, and you have like, for like you understand, like being a photographer as well, like, you have to get certain things out at a certain time, and it's like you can't really go over anything. So it was just like a lot of pressure, but yeah, you definitely learn fast, and you definitely have to like work fast too. So it was fun, but it was very grueling, and it's also just like, I wouldn't say it was like sexist like it was in Mad Men. Of course not, because like they're like based on like 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like there was still like that whole, you have to know how other people. Well, it's marketing, so you have to know what people would want and how people are going to think. So sometimes I'd receive certain things where it's like, hey, use this image, and I'd be like, this looks like it could be kind of racist. Can we find something else?
Was it the what's that company called?
Like Gucci?
No, not Gucci. Yeah, well, everything.
Yeah.
But H&M, the coolest monkey in the gym, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I tend to notice how a lot of creators end up working in specific jobs, and we kind of like neglect or not realize that, hey, I'm using my creative muscles here. Like even for me, being a forklift mechanic, I know it might sound like there's no creative aspect to that job at all, but creatively finding a solution to a specific problem,
right?
Creatively,
yeah.
It's so many different ways. I'm like, oh wow, I'm thinking about it as like a podcaster. I'm thinking about it as somebody who is running out of ink and saying, well, if I'm running out of ink here, I'm just gonna do something else. I just really enjoy looking at my spam email now, like, did Leandra code this? Let me look at this. Like, but I'm so serious when I say, what is going to make me click this email?
Right.
What about this email made me click it? So I started reading a lot more of them. So I joined Big Lots.
Okay.
I went to Big Lots. I know it sounds like a super boring adult thing. So I joined Big Lots and joined their email list, and I hated the emails that they were giving me. So I opted to unsubscribe. Notice I can't. So I was like, okay, well, there's no unsubscribe button. And it was so fun because it said, you have to go to your account and disable it. I never created an account.
That's fucked up. That's bad.
But here's the thing. I just had to like go on my Sherlock Holmes moment and say, well, when I was at Big Lots and that old Karen lady asked me for my name and my birthday, my email, there has to be one of those two things has to be my password. So it was 0623, which is June 23rd, my birthday. That was the password. And are you sure you want to opt out? So I said yes. And they still sent me emails afterwards. They still were like sending me like just weird stuff.
You could probably sue.
Yeah?
I think so, yeah, because I think that's definitely like a legality issue, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Unless they have like some weird loophole. Like I'm pretty sure it's a legality issue.
Or probably it's like emails from earlier in the day that I didn't delete. But still, I don't hate it. I just really do love it because I believe that this is a new form of marketing. Because I myself, like, unbeknownst to me, emailed you for my Substack newsletter.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I didn't do that. All I did was sign into Twitter via my Substack. Hey, you can log into you can use Twitter as a way to log into Substack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
I'll do that. Oh, you want to connect Substack to Twitter? Yeah, what's going on? Now I started thinking, all right, if you got an email, how many other people did?
Yeah, that's true.
Which is kind of annoying.
Well, like I did sign up for Substack because like when you told me to, I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So that's so like that. But how did I even sign up though? Like, was it even through Twitter? I don't know. What I don't think. Maybe I connected. I don't even remember.
I just hate like sending somebody stuff and then like forcing them to like sign up or like join my Patreon. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, you would find it on your own terms if you hear a conversation. But I just hated you're saying that, hey, Substack sent your email to join Gil's newsletter. I'm like, I don't want to pressure anybody. I just hate that.
Right.
You know?
Like I was like, well, you do know my email address. Like I sent it to you once.
I don't even know your email. Just creepy to me.
Yeah, I know. Because I was just like, maybe I signed up. I don't remember signing up for Gil's. Yeah, like it was just.
Yeah, it's very intrusive and rude, in my opinion.
Right.
But
it does make things easier
at the same time.
Right.
But also people that might be corresponding with, like let's say we don't really talk, we text each other every once in a while. But what about the people that I don't normally talk to? Like they just get an email. Hey, sign up for Gil's newsletter. He talks about content and coffee. What the hell? I don't want to talk to Gil right now. Like, why is he in my email?
I know. That's true.
Delete. Let me just go back to my fleshlight emails or something. Like I just don't like being intrusive. Like even when texting people, like I was kind of feeling bad even asking you to do this podcast today. I was like, but luckily you did bring it up because I don't want to like put pressure on people to do things.
Right. No, I get that. But like I'm happy that you asked because I was like, yeah, actually I'm free today.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Which was nice.
Well, yeah. So tell us about this podcast that you started. Well, the Melanated
the Melanated Council.
Melanated Council, but also your own podcast. So you have your own podcast now.
Right, yeah. So, well, first the Melanated Council. It's something that me and two friends started like a little over 2 years ago now. Like we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. We were initially big fans of Andrew Yang when he was running for the Democratic primary for president. And, there was just like a group of us on Twitter. And one of our friends, Erica Rhodes, she wanted to start like a YouTube channel. I think this was like either a little bit before, a little bit after the passing of George Floyd. And so she, rallied us up saying like, hey, let's like whoever wants to join this YouTube channel, let's do this. And I was like, sure. So I was just kind of saying yes to everything because, we're all at home and I was like bored out of my fucking mind. So I was like, sure, whatever. I don't care. And so like my co-hosts, are Toby and Ron. Ron was there like from the beginning, just like me. And then Erica went and ran for Congress in Los Angeles. However, she like just lost her primary, unfortunately. But like, so she had to, quit the show. And so, like me and Ron were trying to find like a third person. Unfortunately, Toby was able to join us. And so it's just been the three of us for like 99% of the shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great vibe. It's really fun.
Thank you.
Everybody just super welcoming and just interesting.
Yeah, like we have just like different various random topics, like we don't always talk about politics.
Yeah.
We just talk about just like random shit, and people in the comments are always awesome and very interactive and like a lot of fun. And we started a Discord channel too, Discord
server.
Yeah, Discord server. And so like we continue the conversation with them, and it's a great time. It's a lot of fun. Like I'm really appreciative.
So the thing about a lot of content creators, a lot of people should take note, especially content creators. You kind of formulated a community. You started the channel.
Yeah.
Continued it, strived, people just started coming. I remember one episode, there was a guy that just came on because he was typing in something and he just stuck around just to like.
Oh, yeah. It was like, because we were talking about comedy that month.
Yeah, comedy.
Yeah.
And he just stuck around. And I was like, this is pretty interesting. And I was like, I wonder how many times does somebody just come up and see the live stream and just watch it, just listens to it.
Right, yeah. Because sometimes, a lot of people, because like we're a pretty low budget group. It's, we don't live in the same area either. Like one of my co-hosts lives in Michigan and the other one lives in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I've actually haven't met the one in Michigan yet.
That's Toby.
No, that's Ron.
Ron.
I've met Toby.
Okay.
Yeah, but I haven't met Ron yet. I'm hopefully will soon. But so like we're all virtual, and like we just use what we have and we just talk. And
yeah, I love that. Like there's no pressure. Like for me, like with my content creator circle, one of my favorite creators, Jared Spink, Tom Buck, when I do Zoom chats, just chatting or like doing consultations with them or just meeting with them or podcasts, there's so much pressure to get my camera situated, get my microphone situated, because it's like, get my lighting right. Like I want to make sure that I don't look like an idiot.
Right, yeah.
But it's not no like disrespect to you guys, but I kind of like the low budget, like you said, the no pressure. We're just talking.
Right.
And even when I came on that 2 times that I did, I was like, kind of coming off like as a dick. Like,
no.
I was like, why am I showing off here? Like, it's not. This is just my setup. I'm like, that's just my nature too. Like, if I have it, I'll use it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so who's also part of the Yang Gang and like in the Black Yang Gang group is the YouTuber Roberto Blake. So we've had him on like 2 years ago, and like his setup was of course immaculate.
Yeah.
But like it was not, but of course it is.
Yeah.
That he's that's his job.
That's
he's a
his
YouTuber.
job,
yeah.
To be a YouTuber.
So like it would have been kind of funny if like, I mean, I'm glad that he, sat down and actually like did that, because like if he was just like on his phone walking around, then I'd feel kind of like, oh, come on, man,
Yeah. But like from him, he's on a different scale, but he's also a creator. But I've done that where people would invite me on, and I'll just talk on my phone, my camera's webcam, because I kind of want to just be like, it's the idea and the content. We're just conversating. I don't want it to be like, yo, this is a dope setup.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There's a podcast called The Barbershop Talk or something like that. It's every Friday. It's no disrespect, guys. I completely forgot. It's like super late. But shout out to those guys. They invite me on as like every other Friday.
Oh, I think you.
Yes, I've sent you. Yeah.
That was them. Yeah.
So I came on a couple of times, and my setup was crazy good because they send you a little StreamYard link.
Yeah.
So I like when people stop and say, "Yo, this is a dope setup," but I also hate it because now that deviates the conversation.
Exactly.
Because it's like, hey, who are you? And I used to do that back when the pandemic hit. This was like an easy way for me to get like 2 or 3 consultations. Like,
oh, true.
It would like hit me in the PMs on the Zoom. Hey, send me your email. I'll do a consultation later. And it was cool. But also now I started noticing if I do that on a podcast or a live stream, it, like I said, deviates conversation. Now it becomes the talking point. Oh, what's this? I'm like, we could be talking about the Yang Gang or we're talking about something else, and now we're talking about my camera setup, and this is not the space for that.
Right, exactly.
So, like what I was saying, sometimes depending on the atmosphere, depending on the show that I'm going on, I might just use my webcam or my phone.
No, I get that, and for sure. Like, and also, like, for any of you listening, who are also on a shoestring budget, and you bring on someone who has, who's a content creator, and you're most likely going to expect them to have like a great setup. You can just easily just like introduce them, just be like, hey, this is Gil. He's a content creator and he does this, this, and that. So Gil, what do you think about, the topic that we were just talking? So you can just bring it back. It's like, all right, content creator, he has great shit. Obviously. All right, come back.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea because I just hate deviating the topics.
Oh yeah. It's like, what kind of camera is that? How long have you had?
No, this is
like, you can find him here at this link. Go. All right, let's go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, what about this podcast that you just started?
Okay, so I started a podcast called the Agreeable Gray Area Podcast. Yes, it's a mouthful, but I feel as though like with society and everything going like in the directions that's going, it seems to be very black and white. Yes, no, right, wrong, 0, 1, like very binary. When most of life, most of what we experience, most of what we go through is just like a massive gray area. So, if you're on Instagram, for example, and you see like super fit gym influencers and stuff like that, they may give you like some wacko advice.
Yeah.
Like my brother once showed me like, oh yeah, this guy runs 20 miles a day. I was like, the fuck, why? Like, why would he do? He's like, oh, well, he does.
Is it like Goggins? David Goggins?
I can't remember. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. He was like black dude.
Yeah. You gotta fucking run. Your fucking legs hurt. You're gonna have to keep running.
Right, yeah. And it's like, that's not bad advice. Yeah, you gotta push yourself, but like, don't try to go from 0 to 20 miles. No. Yeah. Like, just go.
But I'm that guy. I'm that guy that'll be like, I don't run today, but I'm gonna run today because David Goggins told me so, and you better fucking run. That's me.
Right. And like that's how they get you though. Because like they're going to like push you and then you're gonna like feel great today and then and then like the next day.
I got his book and I got his audiobook and I listened to it while I was cycling and I was like, David Goggins said you gotta keep running, you gotta keep cycling.
I mean definitely if that helps for you, but like most people will like feel great about running and then the next day they'll be like kind of like, oh, I'm sore from yesterday, I don't have to run today. It's like, which is a good thing to listen to your body. And then like the following day they're gonna be like, well, I ran Monday, so like I'm gonna skip today. Then like Thursday a friend asks you to hang out and then you just kind of go back into the cycle. Then you're like, oh, I have to start Monday because Monday is whatever reason you need to start. So and that's what like these influencers kind of like hope and pray on. Like, like they know how to keep your attention, but they know how to grab you. They know how to sell to you. However, it's not, like it's not that easy. And like you do have to put work into it, but you probably don't have to put as much work into as you think. Like you may hear people say, oh, they did 2 workouts yesterday. I guarantee you, like the morning workout, they probably just went for like a 2-mile walk. And that's considered that is a legit workout. I'm not like doubting that, but when you hear like, oh, I did 2 workouts yesterday, I'm doing 2 a days. It sounds like this person's going into the gym at like 5 a.m. pumping iron, and then at 6 p.m. pumping iron when that's not what they're doing, and you really shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, if you're training, then maybe, and you have like a nutritionist and a dietitian,
which most of these people have.
Yeah, like I remember when The Rock, wakes up at 4 a.m. to train. Maybe like 6 years ago, I had a job where I wake up at I still wake up at 3 a.m. to go to work. But there was a job that I had where I was physically in a freezer, like negative 40 degrees, and lifting up frozen food, and I would get notifications for The Rock. I still do whenever he posts. And he'd be working out. So I'm a photographer. So it's like I'm looking at the photo, like it's kind of cool photo op. So this probably was like set up a little bit. Maybe he actually is working out. But at the same time, I'm like, well, he's doing this because he really wants to. I'm up because I have to get up because I'm going to work. It's a little bit different. And I'm actively working, and it was a workout because I'm physically moving around. So I used to feel really bad. I was like, oh gosh, what am I doing with my life? I want to wake up at 4 a.m. to work out, but on my off days I don't.
Exactly.
So I was like, wait, I'm only doing this because I have to go to work. And to your point, I wanted to say this about these motivational speakers. they work.
For sure.
They do work, and a lot of people receive them differently.
Absolutely.
But it's all up to you and how you perceive it.
Exactly.
And
also like what works for you.
What works for you? Like for me, the motivational speaking thing works for me.
That's great.
Like this morning, I didn't have to go to work today. I didn't have to do anything, but I told myself if I don't do it, I will regret not doing it. I feel bad if I just stay home all day and sit in bed. I've always been like that.
Mm-hmm.
It maybe could be a thing that was beaten into me as a kid, but I've always been the sibling in the house that's like sleepwalking and like brooming the floor or like learning a new skill or a new trade. That's just my nature. I just have to be doing something.
You were sleepwalking, like
just over exaggeration.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. I was like, that sounds kind of serious.
It's like some slave work.
Yeah.
No, but I've always like doing stuff. I'm always out. I'm always outside, as the kids say. Gil's always out. I'm always learning something. I'm always doing something, and I have to, or else I'll die. I feel
so you're like a shark. You got to keep moving.
I got to keep moving.
You got to keep.
But
swimming.
I also like to respect my body and know when to rest.
Yes.
I know when to take a break. I know when to say no. And a lot of people with these motivational pyramid schemes, I like to call them, they like to trap you. They like to get you these little nuggets. Join my 3-step program. It's going to get you right. We're going to find the best ways to motivate your life. You want to make 6 figures? I mean, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nobody's going to make 6 figures like waking up and doing your program. You have to you have to have a career. You have to have a trade. You have to know a skill. It's not a secret.
Right.
It's you do something, make money, and then you find people to make money for you. That's how you probably make 6 figures.
For sure. Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
And like that whole my 3-step program sounds so like delicious.
It was just 3 steps, bro.
It sounds like so tempting. So it's
and the first step is the step into my program.
Essentially, yeah. It's like I'll give you the first step for free.
Yeah.
And but like in reality, it's like they're trying to make it seem easy just to sell it to you, you know, like, and like slow and steady wins the race.
And
always. But
here's the thing, and I have been guilty of it myself. Back in my cult days, as a preacher, man, I would go out there and look for souls that needed saving, and I would tell people, "Hey, the thing that you have to do is do this. The Bible says that. Come to my church Friday night. We'll be able to pray with you. We'll be able to do this and that, and then you join our congregation, and then now we got you." It's not a trap, but it's the same thing. It's like your life is not going the way that you want it to, and the solution is religion. The solution is this group, this organized religion group. This is the solution to that. And even content creating is there. I have seen people tell me, I don't know what to do in my life right now. And I'm like, well, you should try a podcast. Hey, actually, do a consultation with me. I could probably steer you in the right direction. You know, use my preacher man experience.
Right, true. But you're not not wrong though. But
I mean, I'm not preying on them, but they're just hey, you want to learn how to content?
Come into my den.
Yeah, come into my den. No, but it's a lot of people. The issue is with themselves that they don't know what they want out of life. A lot of people, they look at other people's relationships, they look at people's work, they look at people's hobbies. Like somebody would look at my Instagram story and say, wow, this guy's living life. Like, I barely sleep. I'm tired. If you get 8 hours, you're way better than me. Like if you get to like, you know, go home to your whatever Xbox and play or watch anime all day, like that's great. You did something that you wanted to do.
Right.
I'm doing this because I wanted to do it. But a lot of people feel like, well, I'm not doing what I want. Well, do it. Whatever you want to do. If you want to go to the gym, that's a successful day. If you wanted to go rock climbing, if you want to try something new, if you wanted to go to a coffee shop, take a shit, and then meet a new friend, that's great too. Like if you went out intentionally to meet new people and you did, you're successful. But a lot of people feel like success, the only way to measure success is that there has to be like a financial metric where I'm making more. No, like,
it's however you want to define it. What's funny, like, I was at a coffee shop just earlier today.
Meeting new friends?
No, it didn't work this time.
You want to watch my laptop? No.
Well, I was reading a book, so I probably didn't attract as many people.
Yeah.
So the book I was reading, it's called like The Next 5 Steps by Patrick Bet-David. Mm-hmm. And he created Valuetainment on YouTube.
Valuetainment.
Like I've heard of it. So like
What is Valuetainment? Because I believe I do that.
Like, so, like I've never actually I've heard of Valuetainment. But
isn't it? I thought it was edutainment.
No, that might be another thing. But I've heard of Valuetainment though. So he like he's like an entrepreneur and stuff. But like my mentor told me to like read this book. So I was like, okay, whatever. It was like $12 on Amazon.
Yeah.
So and I've been liking it. And I was actually just reading today about how, like you have to define success for yourself. You have to whereas some people see like they want to live a life where it's like they make $4 million a year. Some people want to make this like, if I just make $150,000 a year and I'm doing, and I'm like have enough time for my kids, I would be set. So you have to like look at how do you want your life to be, and like you got to, work towards that. Granted, I'm only on page 30, so I don't have the answers yet. Yeah. But that's essentially what he was saying. It's like, what is that? What is success? What is the life that you want to live? What does that look like? How much is that? How much are you making? And it looks different for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people, wants to make $500,000 a year. Some people want to make 150,000. Some people want to make 75K and, just have an apartment and a dog.
Yeah.
And that's 100% fine.
Oh, yeah.
So how I see it, like there's no one mountain to climb. There's no one mountain to climb up. We all have our own mountains to climb, and whatever that peak looks like for you, just you just have to climb on.
And I feel like we all, like you said, have our own mountains to climb. And stop looking at other people's mountains, bro.
Exactly.
Stop. Like
your mountain's already huge enough.
Your mountain's already huge enough. You already have your own life struggles and issues.
Right.
And social media is a highlight reel.
Yeah.
But I like to be extremely transparent on my social media. Like I like to just post random stuff, even on my close friends. Or just I'm doing something, or if I'm not doing anything, I probably won't post. But if I'm doing something, oh cool, here's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal with that is not to like stimulate envy or jealousy, but it's more like, yo, get up and go. Like you can do something today. We all have the same 24 hours. One of my favorite creators of all time, Tom Buck, said we have the same 24 hours. So for 5 years straight, he's uploaded 2 or more videos to his YouTube channel without missing a day.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And right now he's up to 103,000 subscribers.
Nice.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I won't say I was there from the beginning. I'm not going to like cap or lie, but I was there at maybe the 15 to like 10,000 subscriber mark.
Okay.
Where I think maybe less than that, maybe a lot less than that. But I was early on, especially with his podcast, which the Enthusiasm Project, if you're a content creator or if you're interested in about the lifestyle of a content creator, he actually documented his venture onto being a full-time YouTuber. He was a full-time teacher for like 12 plus years, and he documented his retirement on the podcast. So like a whole 5 weeks of him, what he's doing, what he's putting in place, how he's doing it. That valuetainment, if that makes sense. Yeah. It's great stuff. And his wife, Heather, they have a podcast called The Couples Table. They meet every Thursday at 4 p.m., 1 p.m. Eastern, whatever Pacific time, but 4 p.m. for us in Florida.
Okay.
And it's great stuff. They drop gems like it's nothing. And I love listening to them, and I love learning stuff because it's relatable and it's real. Mm-hmm. A lot of these content creators make this whole facade that everything is fantastic, everything is this, everything is that, and no, it's not. Sometimes it's not. And it's amazing to find an authentic person online who's a content creator, because this place can be very murky and confusing. So if you're able to find somebody who's genuine, it's unbelievable. You kind of feel like you're about to get trapped. Like, where is the selling point? But then you realize, oh no, this is just a solid women, this is a solid guy.
Right. Yeah.
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 But
that's also something that I'm trying to push with like my own podcast as well. Just trying to be as truthful and honest as possible about, just the shit that people are just trying to sell in terms of life, and just how we don't have everything figured out.
No, we don't.
No, like we're all struggling. So, yeah.
Like even with my podcast, sometimes I forget that I'm a little bit too transparent to where somebody had mentioned something to me, and I'm like, did I say that on there?
I think that's good because that makes you like more relatable. Like I love honesty and transparency and openness. Like this may sound a little bit controversial, but that's one of the things I do appreciate about like Will Smith. I haven't read his book, but like from the shit that I heard, like that was like in his book, it's great to just like for things to just be like super transparent because you never know that there just might be someone who was going through the same things that he was, and now they just don't feel as alone anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that a lot, and so, might sound controversial, but Charlamagne the God, who I love Charlamagne, and he's extremely transparent. He's also a Cancer, so that's why I also like him. So, but he is really transparent and very open and honest about the things that he does and the things that he's done and said in the past. And he's like, I used to do that. I used to go to the studio and Jennifer Lopez will sit in the chair and I'll sniff the chair after she leaves. Like, but it's like he was that guy. He was that, right?
It's one of those things where it's just like, that's crazy. I don't blame him. That's crazy. I don't blame him. That's crazy. I don't blame him. Because it's like, what? Like, I wouldn't do that, but it's like,
you'd see why somebody would do that.
Right. Yeah. Like I'll admit that. It's like I could see why somebody would do that.
And this is like 90s J-Lo. Not that there's anything wrong with J-Lo now, but this is back in the day. But also like even asking questions, like one of the most infamous, hilarious questions is when he interviewed Magic Johnson, and he said that did you ever figure out if it was that the girl from Cincinnati? And they're talking about like where he got the AIDS from. And he's like, well, the thing is, and just Magic Johnson just lost character and just started dying because the way Charlamagne said it, I bet it was that skank from Cincinnati. It's like like Cincinnati, the word skank, it's so perfectly genuine. Funny and genuine, and just like it's like locker room talk. But it's like on the radio, and it's like, I can't believe you just said that, but you said that, but I gotta stay in character, but then I can't because you just said that.
Right, and it's like, he probably, and like Magic Johnson probably thinks it could have been hurt.
Yeah, and it's like, what am I, like, what?
Like, how do you respond to that?
Yeah, but that's why I love Charlamagne, and it's like to see his transcendence into what he is now is beautiful because the thing about human nature, and this is like changing the topic a little bit, we don't give people room or grace for evolution and growth. Wherever you saw them at, people make up their mind. So when I tell people that, Charlamagne's like one of my favorite people, they're like, wow, I would never thought you would be into something as crude and disgusting as that. No, I listened to him. I've been listening to his podcast for like 10 years. The Brilliant Idiots podcast. I've listened to how he
That's been around for 10 years, really?
The Brilliant Idiots, yeah.
Oh my God.
About like,
okay.
Like 8, 9, 10 years, okay. Yeah. They've been doing Brilliant forever. Mm-hmm. But I got to see him rise. I got to see him on Guy Code on MTV back in the day.
I didn't know he was on Guy Code.
Yeah, he was on Guy Code. He was on a bunch of other shows, him and Lil Duval and Andrew Schultz. So seeing their rise and how he put people in place. There's a podcaster named Taxstone. And I got to see, oh, wow, this guy is truly, I wouldn't say like me, not in a sexist way, but truly like me in the sense, I want all my friends to do well. I want all my friends that are creative, have creative endeavors to like, I want to put them in place. I want to put them in, like, I got to see how he built specific people up.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, this is remarkable. But I'm in that space. I'm in that community. I understand it. So when somebody who was outside of it, who only see him on the Breakfast Club, and see how he talks to. Oh, he made Lil Ma cry. No, he didn't. Did you? Oh, you're just on Facebook and looking at memes and
like
understand
clips.
and clips and seeing what happened and seeing how other people respond. So that kind of gives me the sense, oh, you're the type of person that only reads headlines. And then that's how you judge a person. That's how you judge a presidential candidate. That's how you judge a celebrity, by the headlines. And that's not bad. And the thing about those type of people those are the type of people that they walk into coffee shops. I'm going to bring this all home. They walk into a coffee shop and they look at me and they're like, that guy probably might steal my laptop.
True.
You know? So it's sad because you only look at the cover and you only look at what you have seen, what you are used to. So then you immediately judge a person by past actions or judge a person by how other people might perceive this person. Or you're just kind of a sheep and whatever everybody else says goes.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. And that's one of the things I do like about you, Gil, is you listen to like the whole podcast, the whole story about like everything, everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of everything.
Yeah.
I listen to the Joe Budden podcast. I listen to Charlemagne's podcast. But I'm all over the place. But thanks for stopping by. We definitely got to do this again soon, hopefully. I'm really excited about this episode. Like, we're a little too excited.
Yeah, me too.
But where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Like, it's my first name, Leandra, Leandra, but instead of the L, it's a 7. So 7 Eandra. So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram on those handles.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening, watching, however you consume this podcast. See you on the next one.
Awesome. See you.
Peace.